Ryan and I were fired today. Yes. And believe it or not, it's not the first time that we were fired as someone's clients. It's actually the second time. However, this time, Ryan and I were in complete alignment in terms of it was probably long overdue, and we were both actually celebrating the release of having to work with someone that is a good person but is not moving our business forward. And that's what I want to talk about today. So if you are meeting me for the first time, welcome. My name is Melinda Van Fleet. My husband Ryan and I own Good Karma Sport Fishing and Educational Programs here in the Florida Keys. We have been here since 2009. We have a crazy story of how we ended up here. And we both also are, I would say, hybrids in terms of coaching, mentoring, consulting for business people, focusing on sales and how you can really grow your business as an entrepreneur. So one of the things you have to learn as an entrepreneur is how to cut bait, pun intended, when it is time to go. And I probably should be proud of us, I guess, that it's only been 2 times in over 14 years of business, and that's just 14 years as Good Karma Sport Fishing. We actually had different businesses prior to Good Karma Sport Fishing that we should probably share more about, because I think that a lot of entrepreneurs have a lot of little test things that they do before they really get into what they're meant to do in this world. So anyhow, but we've been around a while, and the first time we were fired, it was from our web developer. And Ryan and I rarely argue. I'm going to be honest. Like, we haven't had the easiest time, but that's kind of like a different level of personal development. In terms of our business and being in business together as business partners, we rarely argue. But the one thing we used to argue about a lot was our former web developer. And oh my God. And when you break it down of why you don't end up leaving a relationship, it goes back to some type of fear. I don't think I'm telling you something you don't know, but for the most part, there's something. And for us, being that the majority of our business was driven in a certain way versus other charters down here, losing our web developer was something my husband was very afraid of. And all along, I knew he was not doing a great job. He was not being transparent. He was not really doing the things he said he was doing. He was overcharging us. And behind the scenes, he was actually doing some other things that weren't so great, to be really honest. Maybe I'll share more on that someday. It's interesting. So I had intuition hits and red flags for years that we needed to get a different web developer. And my husband and I would argue about it, that he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to risk it. And I was like, what are we risking? I don't think he's doing what he said he's doing and we're paying. But it was on and on and on. So what I ended up doing was learning about SEO, about how to manage our websites. We had 3 at the time. And really learning the back end of things. And I kept finding things. And I was asking a little too many questions. So one day I asked too many questions and he said, I'm done working with you guys. So it was pretty much, yep, we were on to you, buddy. And when we were on a speakerphone when it happened, so Ryan was there. It wasn't just me talking to him. And Ryan about flipped out. I had to calm him down. He was very angry. He was angry at me. He thought it was all my fault. And it was just an emotional response that once he calmed himself down and got a little faith, because I said, you know what, we just need to make a couple phone calls and I'm sure we'll find somebody else. And we did. I made 1 phone call, actually. And that phone call led to 2 interviews with 2 different web developers. We liked both of them. We liked the one we have now. His name is Brandon. We've had him, I think this all happened in 2020. So it was either 2020 or 2021. And yeah, he's a great guy. No problems. And we actually save a lot of money because he actually charges a fair price versus the other guy who is raking us over the coals. So there are just things that are red flags in your business that when you finally get fired, you're happy. You should be happy. If you're not happy, you should be happy. You should literally take a deep breath and get grounded to the fact that you're going to be fine. Other things will come across your path and you will probably end up in a better place. And it's the Tower card in tarot that should have happened a long time ago. And if you know anything about tarot, like, you'll know what I'm talking about. It just happens that it's time for something new to happen in your life or your business. And if you really get grounded to all the things that you have had happen that were probably like a tarot card, a Tower card falling, you'll see that yes, it did work out. So besides the argument about that former web developer, the only other thing that we used to argue about was him giving away too much yellowtail to other people when we could have taken it home. I love yellowtail. So today we did get fired, and I celebrated and Ryan celebrated. And why this is super important, besides what I already shared in terms of paying attention to red flags, following your intuition to let go of somebody. But the other thing is that when you're finally in alignment as a couple on the same page with something, I really believe the sky's the limit. And it's not easy to be a couple in business. It's definitely not. And depending too on your business model, I have many friends that have restaurants and they're a couple in business, sport fishing friends that are a couple in business. When you have a business that's not just, let's say, coaching, but it's something that requires overhead, something that requires licenses, something that requires a lot of different legal aspects, equipment, things that break, weather. Oh, I could go on that. You really have an extra appreciation for what you have to do and the amount of grit and perseverance and strength it takes on a daily basis and the amount of pressure to do those things. So it's actually quite fascinating. I used to think we were doing something wrong or weren't measuring up in some type of way, but I really came to realize in the past year or two that we're actually pretty strong, like stronger than most. We're still here. And I really believe that so many people that actually are really talented and really skilled, and I mentioned this in one of my other videos, the one where I was walking not too long ago, that, you know, I really believe that the skilled people, the truly talented people, are often the people that are the least audacious. And that's the journey to really see the contrast that you have one thing or the other. And so it's your job to get the other thing that you're missing so you can be balanced. And it's the game. It's the game of life. We're not given the whole package. You've got to work for it. You've got to earn something. You've got to sign up for the challenge. You've got to play the game. So for those of you out there that maybe have been ignoring some red flags, not paying attention to your intuition, it's been going off. Maybe you're in business with your spouse or partner and you've been arguing about something, whether you're on one side or the other. There may be some things that you need to look at and take care of before a Tower card happens. But know that even if that does happen, like it did for us today, I've got this. So there's way more to the story, so many powerful insights. I'm so grateful that this person blessed me with all this incredible content to share. I've been taking notes all day of all these incredible stories. So if you're also a content creator and you have a Tower card happen, look at all the amazing content you have.